talking Bills and Packers, my friends, if anyone who's ever listened to us ever needed proof that you should never come to this podcast for predictions or gambling advice or anything along those lines, it was last week. And when Brian and I got on and gave our predictions for week 10, because we were wrong on a lot of things, my friend. And I think through 10 weeks of the season, this might be the first episode where we're jumping on and we have a positive Green Bay Packer episode versus a negative Buffalo Bill episode.
That's true.
I couldn't
Brian, what happened?
Yeah, Brian, what happened? Well, DVD, we should ask you what happened. You were in the building.
I was in the building. A lot happened prior to the game. Tables were thrown, things were set on fire, beers were consumed, mafia juice was shooken and splattered. But yeah, it was, you know what? I'm going to let Brian talk about the X's and O's, but overall, the energy in that building for Josh Allen and just the Bills in general, it was electric. Nothing beats a Bills home game, and that crowd is just. This is a minor roadblock. This is a minor little blimp on the grand scheme of things. So I'm surprised the Vikings came back just with how terrifying it must have been for them on the field to hear.
Kirk Cousins did everything he could to give the Bills that win. He did everything he could. Brian, before you
I almost left the game. I'm not even going to lie. I was on my fourth or fifth Budalagete, extra tall can. And I was like, okay, you know what? Maybe we'll make some moves here. Or maybe we'll go to another bar. And thankfully I stayed.
Brian, before you give your analysis, I just want to say it was a heartbreaker. But if you're going to lose a heartbreaker, you might as well lose what will probably go down as the best football game from start to finish of this season. I was glued to my television.
Oh, yeah.
It wasn't the same feeling in the Chalk House this past weekend. You just look at Kirk Cousins and you're losing to this guy, and it kills you. It destroys you inside. And then Jefferson, I said this the other week, he's the best wide receiver in the league. I don't even think it's debate anymore. That guy was unbelievable.
Unreal.
But the Bills have many, many issues. One issue is stopping the run. Second issue is their own run game, which is probably the biggest issue. Third issue is, why did we even play Josh Allen that game? What was the point of that? Give Case Keenum his revenge game and let Josh Allen heal. Clearly he's still injured. You saw some of those throws. Let the guy's elbow heal for a little bit. These next few games, we're facing the Browns next. Case Keenum can win that game. So why are we playing this stupid game? I know it's the Vikings. I know they're 7-1, blah, blah, blah. But I mean, it was clear that Josh Allen was hurt, and they ran the guy 9 times. I'm just getting sick of this clown show, Ken Dorsey. I'm getting sick of this guy. I think I don't know, after this year, if this continues, I just want him out of here. I want Brian Dable back. I miss my guy. I miss my namesake guy, Brian and Brian. We miss each other. It's just, I don't know. I'm
Josh
defeated.
Allen misses him too, my friend.
Yeah,
he does. Ken Dorsey he's just an idiot. His play calls, I watch the TV and I'm flabbergasted by some of these play calls. It's like he panics and just just throw the ball, just throw the ball, just throw the ball. It's how about we get the run established and we move forward that way?
I think Josh Allen is the type of guy who love Josh Allen, but he's a bit of a hero. He likes to play hero ball. He likes to put it on his shoulders and be Mr. Hero. And
he's got no choice though.
But I think one of the things that Dable did so well is he would reel him in at times and be like, you don't need to do this always. Let's make a little 3-yard pass. Let's make a safe play here. Let's keep it on the rails. And I don't think Ken Dorsey does that. If anything, Ken Dorsey promotes Allen being Mr. Wildman. To jump ahead, but that throw in overtime, dude, that was a brutal throw.
Brutal.
Yeah.
And I mean, that's what you get with Josh Allen. Sometimes you take the good and the bad, because when he's fully healthy, he makes those throws happen. Yeah. He can make these electric throws. When he's not 100%, you're going to have these really bad interceptions. So you might as well game plan heavy on the run, which isn't, I don't want your quarterback doing the running. I want the freaking running backs doing the running. I'm a broken record this year. Every episode I harp on the run game because it's a disaster. And you're not gonna like I know you said this is a blimp DVD. If you don't fix the run game, you're going nowhere. You're out in the
No,
divisional round.
it's true. It's true. But I think the Vikings, that's a little bit of a different beast that they had to deal with. Like you said, they have the Browns next, and then who do they have in week 12? Like, who's their next 3 games?
Isn't it the Lions on Thanksgiving?
So yeah,
so it's the
Lions on
Browns, the
Lions.
Lions, and then the Patriots.
Which is a big divisional game. Did you know?
Yeah.
Bills haven't won a divisional game all year, so I'm not expecting a win there.
Who had at week 10, and again, there's still 7 weeks to go, but who had all 4 AFC East teams in the playoffs at week 10? All 4 of them are in the playoffs.
The Dolphins look like a freaking wagon too. Like that, Tyreek Hill is insane. So that also scares me.
I don't want to get off topic of the Bills, but this year has really shown me there isn't another professional sport where coaching matters more than the National Football League. Like we just talked about Daboll. You see what he's doing with frickin' Daniel Jones in New York. You see what what's his name? Mike McDaniel's done with Tua. He's literally changed Tua into an unstoppable force.
I know. The guy underthrows every throw, but he's got the receivers to handle those throws.
And last year there was literally talks like, is Tua a starting quarterback in the NFL? And he's completely changed that. And then you see what Robert Saleh is doing with the Jets. The Jets are in a playoff spot. Yeah, I'm not gonna lie, man. I kind of like I check the standings before we come on, like I always do. And the Bills are 3rd in the AFC East. Yeah,
I know. Which can swing within one game, but
yes.
It's not a good graphic. No, it's not a good graphic to look at. It reminds me of last year when the Patriots took over the first spot, and I was like, "What? Like, what is happening?"
Yeah, it's they still are the same team that has to learn how to win close games because, like I said, Kirk Cousins was handing that game to them on a silver platter. Yes, Jefferson was fantastic.
His 4th down catch was
that was unreal. That
broke my heart.
I almost cheered, to be completely honest.
I look at the Minnesota Vikings and I think if they had who's another quarterback, like not one of the elite guys, but like if they had like Justin Herbert or someone else under center, they'd be undefeated. Like they'd be a wagon of a team.
What about Jacoby Brissett? He's so safe. They probably would be a wagon with him. Yeah.
Because it's like I look at the Vikings and it's like their roster is so good. Their offensive weapons and their pieces on offense is so good. And the only thing that makes them kind of like, I don't really trust you is Kirk Cousins.
Yeah. No, you're right. It's Kirk Cousins in prime time too, which has always been his problem. It's just the Bills, they keep doing this. They're up 27-10. They can put the game away with one little play and they just let teams crawl back in. They go for it in 4th down when they could have just kicked a field goal and won the game. It's kind of stuff that bothers me. Mm-hmm. Like let's get our heads out of the ad. It's not smart football.
Yep.
I'm questioning Sean McDermott as well. Like I haven't really spoken about him on this show other than the last time we talked, but I'm really starting to question him as a head coach. He's more of a defensive guy. Yeah. And giving up 33 points to the Vikings is not good for a defensive guy either.
Well, he's coaching for his life right now, man, because they have been everybody's favorite pick to win the Super Bowl this year. They should be at the top of the AFC. They're not. And if they go out in the divisional round, he's going to get fired.
If they even make the playoffs at this point, that's how I'm looking at it.
Oh, they'll make the playoffs.
They'll be there. Don't worry about it.
They'll bounce back and they're okay. They're going to get right. But you do have to be concerned in come playoff time when you get in those types of tight 1-score games. Like, dude, that throw, like I was watching that on Sunday and I went, Josh, like what are you doing? Like,
I know.
Where are you throwing that ball?
I think it's because he's also injured too. He doesn't have the strength to throw the ball. Like, because usually with his arm strength, he can just whip it wherever he wants. And it's not happening right now.
Or the confidence. Like, I think he's just scared to get hurt even more, right? Like, you don't want to keep on re-injuring something.
Yeah, but after the interception, he's running that guy down and does a shoulder throw into him. I'm like, bro, what are you doing?
Yeah. And the fact that, the fact that I think there is probably a part of him. He would never say this publicly, but I think there probably is a part of him that is like, I have to do this. Like it is all on me.
Part of my job.
Yeah. Like if I don't do this, like it's over. Right. So I guess I just like, man, the run game, Brian, is a huge problem.
Massive problem.
Is what I wanted to use to segue, because we've been waiting all year for the other team that we cover on this podcast to actually execute a run first offense. And that is exactly what they did on Sunday against the Dallas Cowboys. And the Green Bay Packer offense, in order to be successful, has to run and flow through a gentleman named Aaron, but not Aaron Rodgers. It has to be Aaron Jones. And that's exactly what happened. He only threw the ball like 6 or 7 times in the first quarter. I can't remember, or the first half. I can't remember the last time he had a stat like that. He threw the ball like so few times. And it's just, I was kind of mad watching it because I was like, you guys wouldn't have dropped 5 in a row if you just, and it's him that I'm pointing to. You wouldn't have lost 5 in a row if you just committed to this. And they finally got pushed to a point after losing to the Lions and coming home against Mike McCarthy. And he finally got over his enormous ego and was like, okay, we need to win this football game. And Aaron Jones has to be the catalyst in order to do that. And guess what? Aaron Jones running game opened up the passing game, hits Christian Watson down the field. And he went to Watson twice earlier in the game.
Yeah.
He dropped both passes, hits him again later, goes back to him. And the kid, you could just see the kid's he was like a flower blossoming in the sun.
He had like what, 4 catches that game?
3 touchdowns.
3 touchdowns? Like,
3 tutters.
Come on. This
107
was
yards.
like the breath of fresh air I think we all needed. But it's exactly like you said, like opened up the passing game. I'm going to get a Watson jersey tomorrow. Like that's how awesome I feel about that kid.
That kid has so much potential to be a stud. He ran a 4.3 at the combine. He can fly.
That's a good time right there.
Yes.
Too.
That's
a good stat.
Yes.
You know that. Okay.
He can fly, because I've been listening to I pretend like
you listen to
listen.
other podcasts. You don't just record this one and re-listen to it.
Yeah, 100%. It's like, it's a copycat. They always say it's a copycat league. Podcasting is also a copycat league. You listen to one person's podcast, you get all the stats, you come on your own and you just regurgitate all the stats.
There you go.
Don't tell them our secrets. Don't tell them our secrets.
I know.
Yeah. Like it's just, I wanted to go down. I wanted to get in my car and drive all the way to Green Bay and grab him by his big egomaniac head and just throttle him and be like, keep doing this, dude.
He still got his touchdown passes too. He got 3 touchdown passes while running the ball because it put him in that position to get those short touchdowns.
Yes.
Yeah.
I hope this can be a catalyst for them. But if you look at their schedule, oh boy. Like I think there is a way for them to possibly sneak in and get that final wild card playoff spot. But
they're gonna have to beat the Titans. Like
they got
the Titans, the Eagles, and then the Bears. So Eagles, Titans, I don't even want to talk about that game right now. But they can't go 3-7. Like they just can't.
If you look at their final 6 games, it's like Titans. I mean, you hope that they came out of the game against the Cowboys relatively unscathed, and it's a quick turnaround in Lambeau in cold weather.
Yeah.
So
the Titans, this is Derrick Henry's season right now, though.
I know.
I will say too that the Thursday night games, we've talked about them, have been pretty garbage, and this might be the highlight.
That's what I'm hoping.
Thursday.
That's
the
what
Packers uniforms. The uniforms are going to look nasty. Though I posted on Instagram.
The all white.
Those look so good.
Yeah, the all white. And then they got the Eagles. So you get the mini Thursday night football bye. And then they come back the following Sunday in primetime against the Eagles. And it's like, oh boy. And then they've got Bears, Rams, Dolphins, Vikings, Lions. So if all goes well, you look at these games here and you're like, could they go 3-3, 3-4? Because I don't see them beating the Eagles. I don't see them beating the Dolphins. And the only way I see them beating the Vikings is if the Vikings have already locked up a playoff spot and are resting, even though that's 2 weeks. That's not the last week of the season. It's the second last week.
Yeah.
But I don't know, man. It's
tough. Well, I was speaking of listening to other podcasts, I was reading other articles, and in 2016, Rodgers was 4-6. And we all remember the 2016 season. Now, my argument to that was that Rodgers was a much different quarterback and had a much different mindset 7 years ago than he does now. Like, I really think the mental game that he's going to have to play to win the next 3 games or whatever it is going to be huge. Like, I don't know. I want to be optimistic, but I'm a little bit of a pessimist right now with the way like he's been acting, but I hope that was a TSN turning point on
I hope so too.
TSN
I think
turning point. Nice reference.
the thing that they have going for them is the NFC.
plug.
Yeah. The thing they have going for them is the NFC is pretty wide open. Like the Eagles got exposed the other night by the Commanders. Like I think the Eagles are not the juggernaut that we all thought they were. And like I want to give you another prediction. The NFC being open.
They lost 1 game. It was the Commanders, but come on.
but it was just the way that like they're not this like unstoppable juggernaut. That's the thing. Are they a playoff team and one of the best teams in the NFC? Absolutely. But I think in the NFC, there's going to be 7 playoff teams that make the NFC. Any one of those 7 could get to the Super Bowl. Whereas if you look at the AFC side, you're like, it's either going to be the Chiefs. It's probably going to be the Chiefs.
Yeah.
Or like the Bills if they get going. The Dolphins are like there's you can look at like 3 or 4 teams in the A. It's going to be one of these 4. Whereas the NFC, it's wide open. I'm going to give you a prediction on that in a second. But I want to talk about the Dallas Cowboys really quick.
They're garbage.
Mike McCarthy was getting a lot of heat for going for it on 4th down, and he's getting criticized for his coaching, and people are poking fun at him. We in the past on this podcast have poked fun at Mike McCarthy ourselves, but I want to stick up for him here. Okay. Mike McCarthy is not why the Dallas Cowboys lost that game on Sunday. The Dallas Cowboys lost that game because Dak Prescott stinks.
He's the most overrated quarterback in the NFL.
I don't want to give Mike McCarthy that much credit because everyone who's like texting me was like, oh my God, your Packers won. I'm like, yeah, that's because we gave away our shit coach. But Dak, he wasn't at his best. He wasn't at his best at all.
He's not. He hasn't been at his best for a really long time. Like he's right now, okay? You got 1 football game to win. And you have to either start Kirk Cousins or Dak Prescott. Which quarterback are you putting in to start that game?
Who are the receivers?
No, I'm
Brian. Into technicalities.
I'll take my chances with Kirk Cousins because at least Kirk Cousins can be an accurate distributor of the football. Dak Prescott, that interception that he threw, where CeeDee Lamb went behind Rudy Ford, I think is his name, the safety, like the 3rd string safety for the Packers who had 2 picks and had like everyone was like, who the hell is this guy? Like, sure, CeeDee Lamb sort of stopped short on the route, but Dak was way early. And Dak's only year where he was quote unquote elite quarterback was when it was in his rookie season. And that was still when Zeke was still elite. And they had that incredible offensive line.
That was like what, 2016?
16. Yeah. That was the run the table year for the Packers.
That was,
Yeah. So it's just, yes, Big Mike is Big Mike. I don't think any Green Bay Packer fan for 1 second is like, oh, I wish we still had Big Mike.
I'm surprised he still has a job in the NFL in general.
I'm surprised Jerry Jones hasn't killed him by this point.
Yeah,
I can't imagine press conferences I hear after.
Yeah,
I know.
Listen,
I can't imagine they have a good relationship.
If Jerry Jones wants to get mad at anybody, get mad at yourself for giving Dak Prescott all that money. Like, my God,
and Zeke all that money. Like all this money that Jerry Jones gives out is to the wrong people. Like Tony Pollard is a much better running back, and he's getting.
I just couldn't believe it watching Sunday. I'm like, this guy stinks.
Yeah, he does stink. And you watch him too. Like even his check down passes look horrendous.
Yes. Yes, they could have. If
That's
Cooper Rush was in that game on Saturday, the Cowboys would have. When Cowboys went up 14, they would have locked it down and won the game.
It's because they adjust their offense to Cooper Kupp. When Dak
Yeah.
Prescott's out there, they're like, okay, just sling it around, Dak. You're good to go. That's not the
Yes.
way
Yeah.
to do it. They should run the Cooper Kupp offense with Dak Prescott and see how
Cooper
that goes.
Rush, Brian. Cooper
Sorry,
Rush.
Cooper Rush.
Rush.
Cooper
Yeah.
Cooper
Cooper
Kupp, by
Kupp.
the way, he is out for the season, I hear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. We're gonna talk about him in a
Yeah.
minute, but I wanted to lay you guys a hot take. I'm gonna piggyback off. It's not my hot take. I heard it the other day, and I'm like, you're so right. So remember how a few minutes ago I was just ranting to you about how the NFC is wide open. You guys know what's gonna happen, don't you?
Oh, Tom Brady's going to run
The
the
Tampa
table.
Bay Buccaneers are going to win their division at 8-9. And Tom Brady's going to go into the playoffs freshly divorced, a new refocused, refueled man. And he's going to end up playing playoff games against guys like Kirk Cousins and Geno Smith.
Yep.
And before you know it,
And Daniel Jones.
and Daniel
Mhm.
Jones, and before you know it, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be back in the Super Bowl.
And
one-
before that, he's going to defeat Jimmy Garoppolo in the NFC Championship game.
If
I
the
don't know
NFC
if I agree with that hot take.
if
I
the
don't know.
NFC wasn't so wide open, then I'd be like, no, the Bucks, it's not there. But I literally think at this point in time, anyone can beat anyone.
Because Rob, I've actually heard this exact take from a few people, and that they went through the whole, like, I think it was Colin Coward. He went through the whole list of what Tom Brady's going to face, and he's like, this is the easiest win for him to get back to the Super Bowl.
Yes. Yes. Look at the quarterbacks. Like, look
I
at the
know.
quarterbacks they'll have to fit. There's no like Mahomes level, Rodgers level quarterback.
Do you guys
that
think-
will be in the
A little off
playoffs.
topic here. Do you think Mahomes is not getting it? Like, why is he not getting any more shine? That guy, he quietly does like 3 touchdown passes a game for like 400 yards, and nobody's talking about him.
Everyone's tired of him.
I guess so. Like, I don't want to
everyone's-
see him either.
Yeah,
but
dude,
Yeah.
I'm so sick of the
Same.
Kansas City Chiefs. I'm so
just
sick of them.
it's unreal that he can do this consistently, though. Like, he's still the best quarterback in the league.
Yes.
Yeah. I actually think that people are tired of him. I think it's just been like we talked about it on the podcast. It's like such a random year this year. And it's
Mhm.
like in order to change up the narratives and the storylines and get clicks and sell papers and turn on the TV to watch the news, like they got to stop talking about the same people all the time.
But I mean, a Mahomes Brady Super Bowl would be ratings galore.
Did you know the Packers and Cowboys, 28 million people in America watch that game?
28 million?
That's not shocking.
I guess,
Yeah,
yeah.
like, America's team and then
Yes.
you have the,
Cowboys,
like,
yeah.
it's the Packers. That's a
Yeah.
lot of fucking people. Don't get me
Yes.
wrong, but I'm not like grabbing my pearls at that stat.
But it's just like
It's a lot of people.
I just think, you know what? Like I watched the Bucks on, aside from that weird play they ran where Brady, did you guys see that? Where Brady split out to the left and then
What, a wide
Fournette
receiver?
threw the ball to him and and he fell down. We gotta
Toppled
stop
over.
putting Tom Brady in spots where he has to run and catch the ball. Can we
It
stop?
doesn't
doing
work.
that?
You
Yeah,
saw what
yeah.
happened
He
against Philly.
looks for an athlete. He looked so unathletic. It's
Yeah,
just
but
like,
I
just
think
like a
the-
normal person.
They've rattled off 2 in a row. They're getting healthy at the right time. They're rounding. Todd Bowles' defense is just, it gets better every week. Like they're like and like we're talking about, Brian. He's gonna end up playing freaking Geno Smith in the playoffs,
Yep.
and he's gonna have Kirk Cousins in the playoffs, and he's gonna do it again.
I know. He'll see Daniel Jones first, then he'll go to Kirk Cousins, or he'll go to Geno Smith, then he'll go to Jimmy Garoppolo. It's the easiest script of all time.
Yes, so we were going to.
Okay, we're gonna
anxiously-
earmark this moment when I
Yes.
disagree.
Yes, yes, and you can dunk on.
And
us
either
later.
gonna
Yeah.
either dunk on you or eat my words here.
Yep.
I would be happy if you dunk on us. I don't want to see that. I know what's going to happen. But a funny thing, do you know Tom Brady's the only quarterback now to have a win in 4 different countries?
Yes, and then he made a joke.
That's a fun
and-
fact.
Yeah.
And then he made a joke that he wanted to play in the CFL to get a win in Canada, and all the
Yeah.
Canadian media companies up here were like, "Tom Brady wants to play in the CFL."
Okay.
We'll take him when he's 65.
I did see that, but I didn't see like what was said before that. And I was
Mm.
like, what the fuck? Is this real? Does this guy actually want to come to the CFL?
Speaking of playing until we'll take him when he's 65, Brian. I don't think this guy's retiring anytime soon. I think the
No.
divorce from Giselle was
Yeah.
a signal to the world I'm in love with the game, and I'm not going
he
anywhere.
told
Well,
us.
he
Another
also
5 years.
I feel like she left him because he wouldn't leave the game. So now it's kind of
Yes.
like a, you know what, good riddance. I can do whatever the hell I
The
want.
guy
Yeah.
literally ended his marriage because he's like, I'm an NFL quarterback,
Yeah,
and I will be
that's-
damned if you
Yeah.
if you get in the way
He's
of
like
that.
No matter
he's like
how hot
like a
you
robot.
are.
Yes,
He's like a football robot. He's like, I must play football now.
you are one of the most famous models of all time, but you know what? You're not an NFL football.
Yeah, exactly.
You're not.
And
You're not
that's
the
what I
Lombardi
love.
Trophy.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah,
You're not made
no,
out
you're
of
not.
Yeah.
fake skin.
Yes.
So wait, do you think he's gonna get rid of his like Scrooge McDuck style contract and just continue to play football?
100%?
He's not guaranteed, but he has signed on to that next season.
He lost a lot of money in crypto recently. Did you hear
Yes.
about
That's
that?
true.
Yes, he did.
FTX. Yeah.
Yes, he did. Yes, he
he
did.
did.
I
So-
heard, and I'm pretty sure this is the last year of his contract with the Bucks. And I was listening to, again, piggybacking off other people's knowledge, I was listening to a Ringer pod the other day, and this guy was laying out all the steps of him going to the 49ers at the end of the year because Garoppolo's gone, Trey Lance isn't ready, and there's a really compelling case to be made that he would go and sign a 1-2 year deal and be the quarterback of the 49ers.
What a perfect offense for Tom Brady that would be. Like with
Yes.
Kyle
Yeah.
Shanahan's system, the run game, he would barely have to do anything.
Yes. Yep. All right, let's talk about our week 11 game picks. To me, there's one major game that stands out this weekend. But I'll let you guys go first. One of you is probably going to pick it. So who wants to go first, DVD or Brian?
Go for it, DVD. Go for it.
I was gonna say I feel like we all have the same pick. I mean, I'm looking at the Jets and Pats. That's
No, that's not
know.
my pick. No.
No?
That,
I mean,
that
I
is
had-
different.
I had 3, and mine was like, oh, Jets and Pats. That seems I can get behind
It's
that
a big
game.
AFC East
That
game.
is a big game.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
it is.
exactly. AFC East game. So yeah, that's who I got. And I thought one was gonna pick that game. What other
Nope.
games are there?
I hope they both lose, by the way. But I'm picking the
Same.
49ers and Cardinals.
No, that's not
I
me
think-
either.
Okay, because
I just
had-
want to
Wow.
see, because Colt McCoy was so good last week. I just want to see what happens when Kyler Murray's back. I think he's the problem in that offense.
Wow.
Wow. So Brian, you were my third. Who you picked was my third pick. I want to see if Rob got the middle one here. If it's something out of left
going-
field.
Vikings and Cowboys. I think.
I wasn't even going to
See?
pick that.
Yeah.
Look
I think.
there,
Yep.
top 3.
I think Vikings and Cowboys is really interesting just for the Dallas Cowboys. If the Cowboys lose, that'll move them to 6-3, and the Eagles will start
Nothing
to
wrong
pull
with that.
away.
Nothing
Yeah,
wrong
I
with
know,
6-3.
but the Eagles will start to pull away. Who do the Giants play this weekend?
They're playing the Lions, so that's an
Lions.
easy win.
Oh, so there you go. So if the Cowboys lose, the Giants and Eagles will pull away in that division, and it's going to become harder and harder to make the playoffs for them because
Yeah.
the Eagles lost and they might lose again, but the Eagles are not the Eagles are making the playoffs, and I think the Giants are too.
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge game for the Dallas Cowboys.
Now, a game that I'm interested in for separate reasons, just for like comedy
funsies?
reasons, for funsies, is the Raiders and the Broncos.
Oh my
That's-
God,
that's
the
the-
Raiders.
That's the toilet bowl game of the week. That's
Yeah.
gonna
Oh
be
my
a
God.
disaster.
That
The
one
Raiders.
is that one is for funsies. That's when you just
Yeah.
shotgun the beers every.
Oh
2
my
minutes.
God. Derek Carr was moved to tears at the end of the
know.
game after losing
know.
to Jeff Saturday.
Could you imagine being Devontae Adams? You leave Green Bay, which if he was in Green Bay, they'd probably have a winning record right now. And
Yes.
it's just like
I
what
said
a
that
disaster.
the other day to somebody, and I'm like, good on him, leaving Green Bay, and now he's just a sack of shit with Derek
Yeah.
Carr, whose
Yeah.
eyeliner was probably dripping as he was crying.
It's
And,
just
like,
it's like Devontae, you couldn't have signed like you couldn't have hooked up with Rodgers and signed like a 1-year deal.
Yeah.
Rodgers would have fed you the ball all year. Your numbers
Yeah.
would have been through the roof. You still would have been one of the top receivers in the game. And then once Rodgers retired, you could have gone and signed anywhere you wanted for $1 gazillion.
Because the Raiders coaching, like the play calling, is so confusing. Like when you watch the game, you're like, has this guy ever coached before? And you know he has. He was the offensive coordinator for the Patriots. He coached the Broncos.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
He took the Colts job and then said no, thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
I love that the Colts beat them too. Just a little
Yeah.
FU to hit.
Oh
Yeah.
my God. Yeah. The Raiders are a dumpster fire.
Yeah.
You know what other team has come crashing back down to earth? The LA Chargers.
Oh,
Oh,
Yeah.
everybody's dark horse, Justin Herbert, and that whole thing. It's not gone well this year.
Both LA teams are just, and I think the Rams are just like full blown Super Bowl hangover.
yeah.
Like, I think I could see the Rams like bouncing back next year and being like a good team again. I think they're just like straight up Super Bowl hangover. So I don't read too much into that. But the Chargers, no buen.
No, the Chargers have looked really confusing to me this year. Their defense is horrible. Their offense is not clicking. It's typical Chargers though. It's like the last 20 years the Chargers have been this team.
Okay, quickly before we only have a few minutes left here. So quickly before we run out of time. We had fun with this 2 weeks ago. So, but now I want your official pick. Are you guys going Argos or Blue Bombers? to
Oh,
win
the
Grey
Argos made
Cup?
it? They
Yeah,
made it?
the
I love how
No
you didn't even
shit.
know. Yeah.
Yeah,
No way.
the
I'm gonna
Argos.
go Argos. Come
Yeah.
on, you gotta
Who
cheer
did-
for the hometown.
Who did they
team.
beat?
They beat the
Alouettes.
Montreal Alouettes, and they are now playing the two-time defending Grey Cup champion Winnipeg Blue Bombers
in Regina,
in Regina, where it's going to be bloody cold.
the city that rhymes with fun.
Yes,
I guess I'll take the Argos. I haven't watched. I don't really know what's going on in that league, but I guess I'll take the Toronto team.
you look like a McLeod Bethel Thompson guy.
Oh, what now?
That's the name of the Argos quarterback,
McLeod Bethel
Thompson.
Thompson
Yeah,
That's a name right
had the
there.
game of his life
Does
on
not
Sunday.
fit on his jersey. That's
No.
for sure.
No, it doesn't. It's hyphenated.
What? Oh, it's
Yeah,
That's pretty. That's a name right there.
That is
Well,
a handle.
we'll be back
Go
next week.
Argos.
We'll be back next week, and we will be anxiously awaiting Brian's in-depth analysis of the Grey Cup. And we're gonna, Brian,
Just-
I want to hear it. I want to
Kick
see
Yeah.
off
it.
with that.
You
Yeah.
know what? I will watch the game and I'll let you
Okay.
know.
All right.
Just what day is it again? Just let me know what day it is.
Sunday.
Sunday.
Night.
Okay,
Sunday
So
night.
all right.
Sunday though, to take a step back and be the
As if
Everything
I'm gonna
podcast.
watch that on a Sunday night. Are you
There's-
kidding me?
Also Sunday morning, there's also World Cup kicks off.
Yep.
So you got World Cup. You got I think you got Formula One.
Yep.
You have
I'm watching
all
Formula
day
One.
NFL. You have Grey Cup. It is the Sunday Fun Day extravaganza.
It absolutely is. And like I said, we are going to have Brian next week breaking down the Grey Cup between the Toronto Argonauts and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So if you haven't subscribed, I don't see any other reason why you wouldn't. So
I will do
please
it.
go ahead and
I'll
do
do it.
so now. Thank you everybody for checking us out. If you like what you see, hit that like and subscribe button below. Spread the word, tell your friends. We really appreciate it. We'll see you guys next week.